Now let's welcome our second speaker, Dr. Telensky, founder of AquaCity, onto the stage. Dr. Telensky, please.
Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to apologize for my voice. It's a great handicap for a speaker to lose his voice, but I hope it'll last till the end. Professor Muskin's speech was very interesting because it showed one thing. It showed problems which exist, at least for the past 5,000 years. We see that nothing has changed. And what I would like to talk to you about, how Chinese culture, Chinese philosophers, and great Chinese people made a mark in my life. As you can see, the ideas which we've seen have repeated many times in the past. And the answer is always in the youth. There we have it. The young people are the most active and vital force in society. They are the most eager to learn and the least conservative in their thinking. Who said that? Who did? Absolutely. Now, you see, I learned that when I was at the age of 12 in Czechoslovakia. Every day, we had one quotation from Chairman Mao, and I know it almost by heart. And as you can see, what a great idea. The answer is the young people. Now, the responsibility of today's youth is to reinterpret. You have a very difficult task. You came from nowhere. Everybody wants to learn Chinese. My son is learning Chinese in his school. And when I went to Harrods for sale this year, there was more Chinese people in Harrods than in Beijing. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody wants to learn what you do. But everybody's asking question. What? Where's the imbalance in China? Because we know there is imbalance in the world. But if there is a great imbalance in China, it will affect the rest of the world. The master said, when a youth is at home, let him be filial. When abroad, respected to his elders, let him be circumspect and truthful. And while exhibiting a comprehensive love of all men, let him ally himself with good. Having so acted, if he have energy to spare, let him employ in polite studies. Who said that? Well, of course, Chuang-Tzu, Confucius. Analog number 36. Now, this is a man which I discovered about 15 years ago. I studied all his analogs, and my biggest compliment when I was in China in Jufu, in the People's University, we were arguing about analogs, and a professor of that university had to admit after lunch that I was right about Confucius' analog and he was wrong, and he was teaching it. A great man, a great visionary, and great moralist. I promise you, in my business, I use a lot Chairman Mao, and I use a lot Confucius. I was born in Prague, in communist country. I was forbidden education because my family believed in God, and that was against the bread. I was predicted to be a bricklayer or locksmith. I was a good musician, which, as you know, Confucius was. I love music, I still do. I play in a chamber orchestra, violin. And I must tell you, I bought violin from a gypsy in 1992 and forgot all about them. And for a week during the Christmas, I was very excited. Because when I did the audit of the instruments, I looked inside and it said Antonius Stradivarius Cremonius, 1722. I thought I had real Stradivari. Well, to tell you the truth, they were not real. They were a very good copy, but they are still worth £200,000, but I only paid £50 for it. So I think sometimes in business you need to be a little bit lucky. I was lucky to leave for Czechoslovakia in 1969, started from nowhere, and you know, I like the word self-made man, because if a man is self-made, it exonerates God from any responsibility. Because we all know that God made all of us. So I sometimes resent the title of being self-made. And you look at your culture, you look at how great people you have become. I must tell you a little story I heard in Hawaii about 2 months ago from an American who said that President Putin and Barack Obama had a problem about what's going to happen in the future. So they went to see this wise woman and says, would you please tell us, what's going to be the world like in 20 years? And the wise woman says, I see a red flag over White House, to which Putin was very pleased. So Putin says, what do you see above Kremlin? He says, well, I also see a red flag. He says, great. But could you please describe a little bit more detail that red flag? To which the wise woman replied, I'm sorry, I can't read Chinese. So, we are leaving Czechoslovakia, starting from nothing. I'm doing the long march from zero, doing various things. I won't bore you with it. And then I came to the conclusion of the great thinkers, like Confucius, like Sun Tzu, like Chairman Mao. You're talking about the influence of Chinese culture. Do you know when the greatest influence of Chinese culture came to Europe? Anybody can tell me? The greatest, which shaped Europe and which rebalanced Europe. Well, I'll tell you, it was the end of 19th century. I have here the translation in English of the first edition of Art of War by Sun Tzu. In 1722, it was in French. And I have published a book about Wellington. How does it compare? Well, Napoleon Bonaparte was an expert in Sun Tzu, and by his practice won 34 battles out of 36. He only did one mistake. He left the book of Art of War in his belongings when he lost the first battle, Battle of Leipzig, and Wellington found it, translated it into English, and then he defeated him at Battle of Waterloo. So, you Chinese people have totally rebalanced Europe. Now, you have a beautiful day today. It goes perfect. Chairman Mao says the world is yours, as well as ours. But in the last analysis is yours. You young people full of vigor and vitality are in bloom of life. Like the sun at 8 or 9. Did you see the sun at 8 and 9 o'clock this morning? I did. I did see. Have you seen the sun for the past 2 weeks? No. But we've seen the sun this morning. Our hope is placed in you. The world belongs to you, and the China future belongs to you all. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't see the problem of rebalancing. We need you. We need you to rebalance a lot of way of our thinking. By the way, when I went to Chufu University, they called me, my name is Jan. So they told me Yahui. Do you know anybody who's Yahui was? He was the most favorite pupil of Confucius. He said that he was very modest, he was the poorest, and he became gray at the age of 30, how hard he was studying all the learning of Confucius. So, look both at the national international perspective and fear of no change. Now, you know very well what is the interpretation of fear. Let's see if I have it here. The fear is F-E-A-R, and it means face everybody and run, or face everybody and rise. It has two totally different meanings. My philosophy is I always face everybody and rise, and so did all your great ancestors. They faced everybody. And what is the name of your country? It's called Middle Earth. In globalization, middle says what it is. You are now in the middle, and everybody is around you. And therefore, your influence is vital to the development of the future world. I follow it. I follow your leaders. I follow your historians, and I find it helps me in my business. It helps me in my moral thinking. I employ quite a few Chinese people. We do the red envelopes on the new Chinese year, and I'm very pleased to meet my good friend, Dr. Malia, whose year it is, because it says exactly, it does exactly what it says on the tin. Dr. Ma, it's the year of the horse. There you go. It's the right year for you. I hope you will prosper, and I hope everything will work for you. He's a great friend. He brought me to China, and he taught me a lot, and I've learned a lot from him. So, the creativity, you're the creation, you are the creativity. We must encourage you young people to be creative. And remember the ideas. You have fantastic idea, and you can never destroy idea, but you can betray it. And you must never betray the ideas which were given to you by ancestors, by your leaders. You must never betray it, because the minute you betray it, you lose absolutely everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I'm so pleased. Today I felt like being in Bugatti Veyron, 160 miles an hour, on the fastest ring in Europe. It's frightening, it's exhilarating, it's exciting. And I thank you for giving me your opportunity to be with you today and remind myself the journey of my life, which always had China and Chinese people in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Telensky, for your inspiring speech. Next, let's welcome